So here's my update to my carnivore diet adventure. I did a video earlier saying that I was getting ready to do that and give it a try. Main reason is for inflammation pain that I have in my body, and I've read so much or seen so much online about how great the carnivore diet is. So Rick and I went on it. It's been 2.5 months. The latest is Rick had to go off of it because it just was not a match to him. Even though he eats a ton of meat, he loves beef, ton of it. He actually said he was losing the joy of eating, which, you know, he just was losing his joy. You could see it in his face. And then you're supposed to hydrate, you know, stay hydrated. So we would get these little electrolyte, little packet things of little powder, and you'd put it in your water. Anyway, so he would put it in his powder. Well, it tasted really good because that was the only sweet thing that we could have. And it's, like mine was peach, and it was really good, and he loved the lemonade flavor. Well, he didn't know you're not supposed to take a lot of that. So he did like 3 of them a day or even more because it was just tasted really great. And so he just did it all day. And then it finally caught up to him. He had a huge pain on the side right here in the front on the right side of his stomach. He ended up throwing up. He was in the bathroom just projectile vomiting all over the place. It was very weak. His urine was almost a gold color. And he was sick for about 2 days. And then finally that night, and the first night I go, wait a minute, I'll bet you it's too much electrolytes. And then I Googled that, and sure enough, you can't do too many of them. So he stopped that, and then we decided he should just stop the whole thing. And he was relieved to be released from that. But although he was only doing it because I was doing it, I didn't want him. I didn't think he needed to do the diet with me, but he did. You know, we do a lot of stuff together. So anyway, so he quit that. Then on Valentine's Day, we went out and I had a drink, Jack Daniels and Coke, I haven't had a Coke, I don't know when. And then we had a chocolate heart, Valentine's heart, and we ate that whole thing, and candy. And so that's stuff that we just haven't had in a long, long time. So we did that night. And then a couple of days later, we went out to lunch at a friend's house. And I said, don't worry about the carnivore thing. We'll just have a cheat day. You know, just fix whatever you want to fix. So she did pot roast, and it had carrots, and then she did some cabbage and some green beans and in the pot roast. And then she had some other kind of dip that was really good. It was a cheese thing, and that was good. So we did that. So went off of that day for that. Then we went out another place. Oh, then we went over to his son's house, and they went out and got Jersey Mike's the subs, and we ate that one. And then that meant I ate all of that bread, which is not necessarily healthy bread, and I ate that. And by that night, well, just over those 2 or 3 days, I was so bloated. I looked like I was 7 months pregnant at night, which is how I was before I started the diet. And I had gotten really, you know, like even at night I was not bloated up. So that was a little experiment on that. So I had kind of decided I was done with this too, because I just didn't feel good. I just was tired. I didn't feel good. I probably wasn't doing it right. Maybe should have been eating more fat or something. I don't know. But I was just eating meat all the time and cheese and eggs. And then it was kind of boring. Like, what are we going to have? Which kind of meat are we going to have today? I just cook up a bunch of different kinds and keep it in the fridge, and that's what we eat. So we kind of went off of it. But then after I got so bloated the other night, I thought, well, maybe I better just... So what I got was that I just needed to pay attention more of the quality of what I'm eating. Doesn't matter if I eat meats or potatoes or whatever it is, just make sure it's quality. It's not popping off to a fast food place and getting a Big Mac or something at McDonald's. So we're making a little change in that. But the thing is, I lost 8 pounds at least. Like today I was down to 125.4, which I can't even remember in the recent history of my life ever been that. Usually I'm like around 134. Which is where I was when I started. So like almost 9 pounds that I lost. And I don't need to lose weight. I don't need to. I could use some of the Poochie belly stuff here. But as far as losing weight, I don't want to start looking skinny in my face and my legs and all that stuff. So I wasn't sure whether I needed to stay doing it. But then I just kind of got the guidance that I should just quit focusing on it all the time and just make sure that what I'm eating is very good quality things. And I'm not one who can pop off and eat a whole bunch of sweets and sugar and all kinds of stuff like that. I just can't do that anymore. I could eat a bite of cake, not a piece of cake, a bite of a piece of pie, just one bite, just one little bite, and I'm good. I don't need all that sugar. So, and I used to eat a lot of sugar, but I just don't anymore. I don't even want it. Another thing with Rick, when he was on it, he usually could eat entire plates full, lots of stuff. And he got done, he was just eating about this much, just a little bit, that much, and he'd be full. So he didn't want more. So that was one reason he was being able to lose weight. But anyway, he's a happier camper now that he's off of this wonderful diet wheel. And I can remember a long time ago when I never have had a diet in my whole life, and my husband was on a vegan diet, and that was like our social life, was going to the grocery store and reading labels on the cans and like what's good for you, what's not. And so I always thought like just talking about a diet is extremely boring, and I just had no interest in that. But I thought, well, I'd heard so much good things about the carnivore diet that I really expected to help with the inflammation. It did not. I still wake up and can hardly walk till I get up and move around a little bit, and then I'm relatively okay. But it hasn't helped with anything. The only thing I've noticed is I lost that weight. And that's the only thing I've noticed with it on 2.5 months. So I think we'll just kind of do a modified version of it now and see what happens. And I just want to get to where when you feel good. If you're feeling good, then whatever you're doing is what you should be doing for your own diet. So I don't know if you guys are into carnivore, or if you want to give me any comments about what your experience has been with it. I'd appreciate that. And I also appreciate that you're watching my YouTube channel with Nonstop Aha Moments. And I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you in the next video next week.